Jason stood at the threshold of his memories, a man marked by the weight of regret and the shadows of the past. Once, he was filled with a boundless energy that turned every mundane moment into an adventure. Laughter echoed through the halls of their childhood home, and dreams were woven into the fabric of their shared lives. But as the years slipped away, those dreams had become frayed, lost amidst the bitter ashes of a business fallout that had ignited a rift between him and his brother Ben. The accusations of betrayal had cut deep, severing the bond they had nurtured since childhood. Now, at 42, Jason felt like a ghost haunting the remnants of what once was a brother without a brother. Before we embark on this journey of heartwarming rediscovery, I have a small request. Please subscribe to the channel. Your support is invaluable, and every subscription helps us share these touching stories with more people who need them. Together, we can create a community that celebrates the power of connection and the beauty of forgiveness. So please, take a moment to subscribe now. As he stood outside Ben's house, Jason's heart raced with a mix of anxiety and hope. The air was thick with unspoken words and unhealed wounds. He could almost hear the echoes of their childhood laughter, the playful banter that had once filled their days, now silenced by years of estrangement. The thought of facing Ben after nearly a decade was overwhelming. But the news of Ben's illness had pierced through Jason's heart like a dagger, igniting a long-dormant desire to mend what had been broken. With each step toward the door, Jason felt the weight of his guilt pressing down on him, threatening to pull him back into the darkness of his own making. How could he have let it come to this? The memories flooded his mind. Moments spent fishing by the lake, racing bicycles down the street, and the countless times they had supported each other through life's trials. Those days felt like a lifetime ago, yet the ache of his brother's absence was as fresh as ever. He hesitated for a moment, his hand hovering over the doorbell. What if Ben was still angry? What if he slammed the door in Jason's face, refusing to acknowledge the brother who had let him down? Those fears gripped him fiercely, but they were eclipsed by the longing to see Ben, to hear his voice, to feel the warmth of their brotherly bond once more. Taking a deep breath, he finally pressed the button, the chime echoing through the house like a herald of change. When the door opened, Jason was taken aback. Ben stood before him, looking frail yet radiant, his features softened by time and trials. For a fleeting moment, they both lingered in silence, trapped in the gravity of their shared history. But then, to Jason's astonishment, Ben stepped forward and enveloped him in a warm embrace. It was a hug that spoke volumes, a gesture of love that transcended the years of pain and resentment. "I've missed you, brother," Ben whispered, his voice thick with emotion. The sincerity in his tone shattered the walls Jason had built around his heart. He felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes, a release of years of pent-up sorrow. "I thought you would never forgive me," Jason admitted, the shame of their past spilling from his lips like a long-held secret. Ben pulled back slightly, looking into Jason's eyes with a softness that felt both strange and familiar. "I've waited for you to come back," he said, a hint of sadness threading through his words. "Every day, I've missed you. I just wanted you to reach out." In that moment, the years of silence melted away, and a flood of memories surged forth, igniting the bond they thought had been extinguished forever. They stepped into the living room, where the walls were adorned with photographs that chronicled their lives, snapshots of happier times, family gatherings, and milestones celebrated together. Each image was a testament to their shared journey, a reminder of the love that had once flourished between them. As they settled into the worn, familiar couch, Jason felt a warmth spreading through him, a sense of belonging that had been absent for so long. Ben began to share stories from the past, recounting moments that brought laughter bubbling to the surface. They reminisced about the summer they camped in the woods, the time they built a treehouse that never quite stood straight, and the mischief they had caused as teenagers. With every shared memory, the distance that had seemed insurmountable shrank, replaced by a growing sense of understanding and acceptance. "I remember that time you tried to impress Sarah at the school dance," Ben chuckled, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "You ended up stepping on her foot, and knocking over the punch bowl. It was chaos. Jason laughed, the sound echoing in the room like a long-lost melody. I was so nervous. I just wanted to impress her. Yeah, well, you definitely left an impression, Ben teased, his laughter infectious. As they continued to share memories, the atmosphere shifted, weaving a tapestry of nostalgia that enveloped them both. Laughter danced through the air, banishing the shadows that had loomed over them for so long. In those moments, it became clear that the bond between them had not been severed. It had merely been buried under layers of misunderstanding and pain. But alongside the laughter, there was an undercurrent of honesty, a deep-seated need to confront the past that both brothers had avoided for years. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm glow across the room, Jason felt an undeniable urge to address the elephant that had loomed so large between them. Ben, he began, his voice steady yet tinged with vulnerability. I need to apologize for everything. I never meant to hurt you. The decisions I made, I thought I was protecting us, but I see now how wrong I was. Ben's expression softened, and he nodded slowly, as if processing Jason's words. I know you didn't mean to hurt me, he replied. But when everything fell apart, it felt like the world was crumbling, and I lost my brother in the process. The weight of those words hung in the air, a reminder of the pain they had both endured. Yet, beneath the sorrow lay a glimmer of hope, an opportunity for healing. Jason felt a shift within himself, a recognition that forgiveness was not just about absolving one another of their past mistakes, but rather an opening of the heart, a willingness to embrace the possibility of reconciliation. As they continued to talk late into the evening, sharing their fears and dreams, the bond between them grew stronger, fortified by honesty and understanding. It was as if a dam had broken, releasing not just the flood of memories, but also the love that had always existed beneath the surface. Each word exchanged was a step toward healing, a testament to the resilience of their brotherly bond, a bond that, despite the trials they had faced, remained unbroken at its core. The night deepened, and with it came an overwhelming sense of peace. Jason felt a weight lift from his shoulders, the burden of guilt and shame gradually dissolving in the warmth of their connection. They had a long way to go, but in that moment together, they had taken the first steps toward rebuilding their relationship, brick by brick, with laughter, tears, and an unwavering commitment to each other. As the stars twinkled outside, a gentle reminder of the vastness of the universe and the smallness of their grievances, Jason realized that they had found a way back to each other, not just as brothers, but as friends, companions on a shared journey of healing and rediscovery. And in that realization lay the heartwarming truth that sometimes all it takes is a single step to begin the path toward forgiveness. As the evening wore on, the light of the setting sun faded, replaced by the soft glow of a lamp that cast a warm halo around the living room. Jason and Ben remained ensconced in memories, the atmosphere rich with nostalgia, tinged with a sweetness that had been absent for so long. It was a space where laughter mingled with the sorrow of lost time, a delicate balance that both brothers had yearned to reclaim. Do you remember the time we tried to build that raft? Jason asked, a smile tugging at his lips. We thought we could float it down the creek, but it sank before we even got to the water. Ben chuckled heartily, the sound filling the room with life. Of course, we had no idea what we were doing. I think we spent more time arguing about how to tie the ropes than actually building it. Jason leaned back, the warmth of Ben's laughter wrapping around him like a comforting blanket. We were so determined, though. It's funny how we thought we could conquer the world with a few planks of wood. Ah, those were the days, Ben said, his expression shifting to one of fondness. We had no idea what awaited us, did we? The challenges, the responsibilities, the way life would throw curveballs at us. For a moment, silence fell between them, laden with unspoken thoughts. The business fallout had been one of those curveballs, an unexpected twist that had changed the course of their lives. Jason felt a pang of guilt, knowing that the bitterness of that experience had overshadowed the joyful memories they were now sharing. I wish I could go back and change things, he murmured. If I had just listened to you instead of letting pride get in the way. Ben shook his head, a gentle smile gracing his lips. We were both stubborn, Jason. You know that. But what's important is that we're here now, together. We can't change the past, but we can shape our future. Jason felt a warmth spread through him at Ben's words. It was an acknowledgement that they were both to blame, yet it didn't diminish the love they shared. Instead, it reinforced the idea that they were two flawed individuals navigating the complexities of life together. You're right. I'm just grateful to be here with you again. As the conversation continued to flow, Jason found himself opening up about his life since their estrangement. He spoke of the struggles he faced, the loneliness that had become a constant companion, and the lessons he had learned through the years. I thought being successful in business would bring me happiness, but it only left me feeling empty, he confessed. I missed what truly mattered, my family, my brother. Ben listened intently, his gaze unwavering. I understand. I've had my own battles to fight too. The illness, it made me reevaluate everything. I realized how vital it is to have people around you who care, who can share in your joys and sorrows. It was a poignant admission, one that resonated deeply with Jason. The fragility of life had a way of illuminating what was truly important, and in that shared understanding, they found a deeper connection. I wish I could have been there for you during those times, Jason said, his voice tinged with regret. I should have reached out, should have been your support. Ben reached out, placing a hand on Jason's shoulder. You're here now, and that's what matters. We can't dwell on the past anymore. Let's focus on moving forward together. The sincerity in Ben's voice was a balm to Jason's soul, easing the ache that had lingered for so long. They spoke late into the night, their words weaving a new narrative, one built on understanding and a shared desire to reconnect. Each story, each laugh, was a thread pulling them closer, stitching together the fabric of their brotherhood. As the hours slipped away, Jason felt a sense of renewal wash over him. The guilt and shame that had once consumed him were being replaced by hope and the promise of a brighter future. He realized that forgiveness was not just about absolution. It was about embracing the possibility of change and growth, both as individuals and as brothers. Let's make a pact, Jason suggested, a playful glint in his eyes. No more letting life take us apart. We'll check in with each other, no matter how busy life gets. We'll share our victories and our struggles, just like we used to. Ben's smile widened, and he nodded enthusiastically. I'd like that. Let's promise to be there for each other, no matter what. The brothers clasped hands, a gesture of solidarity that felt momentous. In that instant, they forged a new bond, one that was fortified by their shared experiences and the acknowledgement of their past mistakes. They had both grown, evolved from the young boys who had built rafts and climbed trees, and now they stood at the precipice of a new chapter, one filled with promise, understanding, and the love that had always been a part of them. The night deepened, and as they exchanged stories, a sense of peace settled over them. The shadows of resentment that had once clouded their hearts were dispelled by the light of compassion and empathy. It was a transformational moment, an awakening that reminded them of the power of familial love and the importance of connection. As Jason looked around the room, he felt a surge of gratitude. The photographs on the walls, the familiar sense of home, and the laughter that echoed through the air were all reminders of the life they had once shared. They were not just memories. They were stepping stones toward a future that was now filled with possibility. If this story is touching your heart, make sure to comment from where you are hearing this amazing story, Jason urged, breaking the bubble of their intimate moment. He felt an urge to share their journey, the beauty of their reconnection with the world. Healing was a powerful force, and he wanted others to know that it was never too late to mend broken bonds. With the promise of a new beginning hanging in the air, the brothers sat together, lost in conversation, as the stars twinkled outside like tiny beacons of hope. They had come a long way from the pain of their past, but together, they were ready to embrace whatever the future held, side by side, as brothers once more. As the hours slipped by, The atmosphere remained charged with an electric sense of renewal. Jason and Ben continued to share their hopes and fears, each word a building block in the fragile structure of their rekindled relationship. The weight of the past slowly transformed into a foundation for the future, sturdy enough to bear the burdens of their shared experiences. "Remember how we used to dream about starting a business together?" Jason asked, a nostalgic smile creeping across his face. "We were unstoppable in our imagination." Ben chuckled, nodding in agreement. "Yeah, we had grand ideas. I think we even sketched out plans for that coffee shop we were going to open. We thought we could change the world, one cup at a time." Jason's heart swelled with warmth at the memory. What if we revisited that dream? Not in the same way, perhaps, but as a way to honor what we once envisioned together. Ben's eyes sparkled with interest. "You mean like a joint project? Something that could bring us closer again?" "Exactly. We could start small, maybe a community event or a charity initiative," Jason suggested, his excitement palpable. "It could be anything that speaks to us, something that reflects who we are now." Ben leaned forward, his enthusiasm mirrored in his expression. "I love that idea. It's a way to reconnect with our roots and give back to the community that raised us. Plus, it would be a reminder of our bond, a project we can nurture together." They spent the next hour brainstorming ideas, their laughter punctuating the air as they sketched out plans and visions. The room felt alive with possibility, each suggestion building on the last, creating a tapestry of hope and determination. It was like rediscovering a part of themselves that had been buried beneath the weight of their estrangement. As they immersed themselves in this collaborative spirit, Jason marveled at how quickly the years of silence had faded into the background. In these moments, he felt a sense of belonging he had long thought lost. The warmth of brotherhood enveloped him, reminding him of the strength that comes from unity. Eventually, as the night deepened and the stars twinkled brightly outside, their conversation began to wind down. The initial energy shifted into a comfortable calm, a shared understanding settling between them. They had ventured into the depths of their past and emerged stronger, ready to face the future together. "I can't believe how much I've missed this," Jason said softly, a hint of vulnerability in his voice. "I didn't realize how lonely I had become until tonight." Ben looked at him, his expression serious yet compassionate. "You're not alone anymore, Jason. We're brothers, and I want you to know I'll always be here for you." Jason felt a lump in his throat, the sincerity of Ben's words washing over him like a soothing balm. "Thank you. That means more to me than you know. I've carried so much guilt, but I see now that we can move forward together." With a gentle nod, Ben reached out, clapping Jason on the shoulder in a gesture of solidarity. "We will. This is just the beginning." As they prepared to call it a night, the atmosphere in the room felt transformed. They had bridged the chasm that had separated them for nearly a decade, and in its place was a newfound commitment to each other. The past would always be a part of their story, but it no longer defined them. Jason stood at the door, his heart light, as he took one final look around the familiar space. "I'll be back tomorrow. We can start planning our community project." Ben's face lit up with a smile. "Absolutely. I can't wait to get started." As Jason stepped outside, the cool night air greeted him, refreshing and invigorating. He looked up at the stars, each one a reminder of the countless possibilities that lay ahead. The journey to forgiveness was often fraught with challenges, but he now understood that the path was worth traversing. He had faced the ghosts of his past and emerged with a heart full of hope, ready to embrace the future with his brother by his side. The night felt alive with promise, and Jason knew that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, one step at a time. With renewed determination, he walked away from Ben's house, the distance between them now just a physical measure. The emotional gulf that had once felt insurmountable had been bridged by love, laughter, and a shared commitment to healing. Jason knew that the road ahead would not always be easy, but with Ben at his side, he felt ready to navigate whatever challenges awaited them. The truth was heartwarming, and as he made his way home, he carried the warmth of their reunion with him, a reminder that family, despite its trials, always had the capacity to heal.